Hey, Commanders fans, listen up because we have some very important information coming your way, and you need to know everything. Here on the channel, you'll find all the news about our team with breaking news and everything a true Commanders fan needs to know. So, first of all, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications because here you get everything firsthand and are never out of date. Oh, and leave your like right now to strengthen this incredible community and show that the Commanders fans are always present. Without further ado, hold on tight because today's news is unmissable. Now, let's get straight to the point.
Washington Commanders release four-time Pro Bowl defender. The player, a four-time Pro Bowl selection, suffered a torn ACL that sidelined him for the remainder of last season. The Washington Commanders have been quite busy reducing their roster before the start of free agency on March 9th. Last week, the Commanders released starting center Tyler Biadasz, a former Pro Bowl selection, but Biadasz's departure was just the beginning. On Monday, ESPN NFL specialist Adam Schefter revealed that the Commanders plan to release four-time Pro Bowl cornerback Marshon Lattimore. Releasing Lattimore frees up approximately $18.5 million in salary cap space. The Commanders signed Lattimore when they needed to bolster their secondary defense. Washington felt they were just one or two pieces away from a Super Bowl run and believed Lattimore's arrival would help them capitalize on Jayden Daniels' strong rookie season. The Commanders reached the NFC Conference Final, but Lattimore only played 9 games in 2025. Approaching his 30th birthday before the start of the 2026 season, Lattimore will have an early opportunity to assess his market value. However, he hasn't had a multi-intercept season since 2021, the last time he was selected for the Pro Bowl. After being ranked 96th out of 114 cornerbacks evaluated by Pro Football Focus in 2025, it's not hard to understand why the Commanders wouldn't be willing to pay nearly $20 million for a player whose star status has diminished. Still, after demonstrating the ability to play at a very high level, it shouldn't take long for Lattimore to find a new team this offseason.
The Commanders may have a real chance to land the perfect complement to Jayden Daniels at the running back position. With teams preparing for the opening of the NFL free agency market, which begins in about a week, the Washington Commanders are in an advantageous position. For a team that doesn't have many draft picks, they currently have over $71 million in salary cap space, with the possibility of increasing it even further. With an aging roster in some positions and a quarterback coming off an injury-plagued season, Jayden Daniels, the Commanders have a lot of work ahead of them. But how about closing a deal for one of the best running backs in American football? I know, it seems impossible, but bear with me. Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated recently clarified the Miami Dolphins' plans for the coming weeks and brought interesting information to this column about the franchise essentially keeping all options open with all players. The Dolphins will be considering trade proposals for the entire roster, as we've already said. I think some players, like De'Von Achane, might end up receiving contract extensions this offseason. But I really don't see anyone who is completely out of reach for a team that will be focused on reshaping its roster through the draft, while dealing with the salary cap consequences of Tagovailoa's imminent departure. Negotiating the signing of a star player will be extremely difficult for the Commanders. I know most fan reactions to something like this will be entirely correct, considering Washington already has few draft picks, and with an aging roster, that makes any negotiations somewhat complicated, to be honest. But imagine Achane and Daniels on the same defensive end for a moment. Okay, we'll talk more about that in a moment. What would it realistically take for Washington to acquire a player like Achane? It's necessary to assume his trade value is equivalent to a second-round pick, or even a late first-round pick. Washington doesn't have any second- or fourth-round picks this year, but has all its capital available for 2027. Perhaps the perfect scenario would be if the Commanders could convince Miami to accept a second-round pick in 2027, and then trade their first-round picks this year. With Washington picking 7th and the Dolphins 11th, Miami would move up in the draft and potentially get a player who wouldn't be available until the 11th pick. The most curious outcome in that case would be Miami selecting running back Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame with the 7th pick and still getting a second-round pick in the process, but that's a completely different story. For the Commanders, Achane represents an elite running back. With Daniels' running ability, having Achane in the same backfield would be a dream.
Commanders emerge as a potential candidate for an $18 million trade. Entering the 2026 NFL offseason, the Washington Commanders will be a team worth watching closely. After reaching the NFC Championship game in the 2024 season, the Commanders returned to reality in 2025. They finished the season with a record of 5 wins and 12 losses and did not qualify for the playoffs. Injuries were a major obstacle for Washington last year. Jayden Daniels missed a significant amount of time due to multiple injuries, and many other key players also missed some games. The Commanders were unable to overcome these problems. In the offseason, a potential need for Washington will be to find reinforcements for the running back position. With this in mind, the Commanders have emerged as a potential candidate for an $18 million trade to improve their situation at the running back position. Washington Commanders linked to an $18 million trade option. Teddy Ricketson of the Sporting News suggested that Washington would be one of the best trade options for the Detroit Lions running back David Montgomery. Ja'Cory Bill Krosky Merritt was the star of the preseason, and although he was a 7th-round pick, many had high expectations for him. He ended up being good, but not great, which was acceptable for a missed 2025 season. To help him develop and give the Commanders more options at the position, Washington could make a move and trade for Montgomery. Montgomery would instantly improve the Washington offense. He would help relieve pressure on Daniels and the passing game, as well as form an excellent running back duo with Krosky Merritt. What would David Montgomery bring to the Commanders? Throughout the 2025 NFL season with the Lions, Montgomery played in all 17 regular season games. He carried the ball 158 times for 716 yards and 8 touchdowns, averaging 4.5 yards per carry. Montgomery also caught 24 passes for 192 yards. At 28 years old, Montgomery could also become a viable long-term option for Washington. If the Commanders are interested in Montgomery, they will have to be aggressive. Other teams in the league would love to sign a running back like him, and there's no guarantee that Detroit is willing to part with him. Ricketson mentioned some teams that could compete for Montgomery's signature. Among these teams were the Buffalo Bills, the Arizona Cardinals, the Atlanta Falcons, the Houston Texans, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Minnesota Vikings. Only time will tell if Washington will be interested in trading for Montgomery. The signing would make a lot of sense, and the Commanders should do everything in their power to develop more talent around Daniels and improve the offense.